Hey guys, and welcome back to this episode. So, for today's episode, it's still a continuation from the previous series whereby we talk about how do you go from goals to actually making progress. And I wrote covered about perfection, so it's about perfection, it's about making progress. And so, for this episode, we're going to call it Goals to Progress. The goal in this episode is to eliminate the clutter. And what do I mean by this? Now, you will notice whereby because of the person that you currently are, you will notice it's going to be very difficult for you to actually change this habit. It's like, how a tree grows and then it's like trying to change it when it's mature. And so what happens is it's going to be very difficult for you to actually bend it to actually go in the direction that you want it to do. And it would have been easy if it happened if it was younger. But nonetheless, it is not impossible for you to do it. However, for you to actually successfully do this, you will need to know what kind of obstacles that you're going to be facing along the way. And none of these obstacles are going to be the key or going to be the differentiating factor or going to make the difference or going to be the determining factor whether or not you actually achieve your goals. And so for this episode, the goals we're going to be talking about, or the last thing you're going to do, remember we talked about writing down your goals. Number 2, we talked about breaking them down into daily habits. Number 3, we talked about removing or reminding yourself each and every single day of what you need to do. It can be in the morning, in the evening, or at noon, or whatever you catch yourself. And number 4 is to actually eliminate the clutter. So you need to figure out what is the thing that is stopping you. And that's why we kind of try to include this personal development segment. So we talk about, the things about perfection and personal development, going from goals to progress and all these other things. These are some of the goals. These are some of the mental blocks that are going to be standing in your way from you becoming the person that you need to become in order to achieve those goals. However, even in this process of metamorphosis, what happens is you realize there's going to be a lot of clutter along the way. And so the last step of this goals to progress kind of checklist items is to actually eliminate the clutter. And so you need to figure out what is actually stopping you. Now, when I was doing the morning runs, the K runs, one of the things that I discovered that was kind of stopping me, making me inconsistent, was my feelings. You see, for you to actually become, we'll talk about this later on, but let's give you a quick highlight. For you to actually become somebody, you will need to get over your feelings. And for me, especially when it comes to something that is hard and stressful on the body, like exercising or running, is you'll find out that some days you wake up and you don't feel like going for a run. Yes, your body will actually resist you. It will tell you, I don't feel like doing it. And your mind, in your mind, you know that you're supposed to do it, but your body will tell you otherwise. It'll be like, I don't feel like doing it. And this is the thing that kind of stops most people, is because you haven't brought your feelings under control yet. And so a lot of the times you're being ruled by your feelings. You need to be able to actually do what you set your mind to do. And this is just one area. It can be a different thing. Maybe you think that you need finances. Maybe you think that you need to have everything, put together before you can actually start. Maybe you think you need to learn a lot before you actually start. And so whatever the obstacle is, your goal for now is to actually write them down. And so even in this episode, I encourage you, at the bottom of the comment section today, I ask that you write it down. Write down what do you think is stopping you from becoming or actually achieving some of the goals that you're doing. And some of the main things that I've found is, number 1 is distractions, getting distracted. Especially we live in a world where it's information overload, and so it's going to be very easy for you to be distracted. One of the things that I've been struggling with is when I get on my phone, I found myself on Facebook or on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever, and then I just find myself spending like hours on there, not doing anything productive. And these are some of the form of distractions, or how all distractions kind of manifest themselves. And so the first thing that you will need to do, I think it's general for everyone, is to actually manage your distractions. And that means managing your time. And so first of all, you need to identify what is it that is distracting you. Is it Facebook? Delete it, or just set aside a specific time that you're going to actually spending time on. Now, that might be counterproductive or counterintuitive for most of you, especially because we're talking about becoming an expert. And unfortunately or fortunately, you're going to be using social media as a main marketing avenue. However, without discipline, it's going to be a distraction. So if you find yourself endlessly scrolling on TikTok or on Facebook or on Instagram or on Snapchat or whatever it is, whatever social media that you use, then that's going to be a problem. And so for now, you need to be able to identify what the clutter is. This is what I call the clutter, and then eliminate it. And so I think an iPhone is a pretty good feature that shows you what kind of how you spend your time. So make sure you add it to the list of what comes to goals to progress, and actually look at the apps that you can actually use each and every single day and how much time you actually spend on them. And so unless it is strictly business, or unless it pertains to actually you achieving your goal, which we still haven't gotten there yet. For now, the goal is to actually kind of tame yourself when it comes to spending time on the social media applications, and even spending time with friends or company, or even watching television or Netflix or whatever it is that you're actually wasting your time on. And so for now, just be able to identify these distractions and eliminate them. Put them at the top of your head that you know that you need to stop these things and actually work towards it each and every single day. The next thing is you need to worry about is managing your time. Now, some of you may be working 9 to 5 jobs, and then you get home, you have family, and you might find yourself that you don't have time. But here's the thing, if you truly love something, you will actually make time for it. It's the same thing when it comes to dating or relationships. If you have time for somebody, if you love somebody, then you actually make time for them. And so I've never heard any of you or anybody ever say that they don't have time for somebody that they love. And so whether they're on work or whatever else, they actually pick up the phone and actually talk to the person that they're in love with, because that is what they do. So whatever it is that you love, whatever it is that you care about, you actually make time for it. And if you don't have time for it, even if you're working like 12 or 16-hour shifts, you can always wake up a bit earlier, or you can do it on your commute, maybe to work, or you can just find time. Even when you're eating, just before lunch, you can just carve out maybe 5-10 minutes or 20 minutes to actually get something done. And so if it's a lack of time issue, it's not because it's a lack of time, because here's the thing, we all get 24 hours in every single day. So it's not about a lack of time, it's about how you manage your time. And this is something that has been cropping up over the last few episodes. So I'm thinking I'm going to do something, probably do some research on how you can actually manage your time effectively, and I'll share with you guys what has worked for me and what hasn't worked for me. But for now, just know that if you don't have time, that means you're wasting your time with something that's not productive. If you're getting distracted, then that means you're getting distracted with the wrong things. And so it's just about realigning your focus. And so for this thing to work is you need to be focused. You need to have laser focus, tunnel vision, so to speak. You need to have tunnel vision. You know, like how a horse, when it's running, it usually has these goggles, so to speak, on the eyes that actually focus on one way, on the road ahead and nothing else, so that it can avoid being distracted. And so that's kind of the goggles that you need to put on for you to actually go from your goal areas to making progress on those goals. And so for now, you need to kind of just put on those goggles and have tunnel vision when it comes to achieving your goals and nothing else. All right, guys? Let me know your thoughts on the comment section below. And as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know if this works for you or it doesn't work for you. I'll share with you, as always, I'll share with you later on in the next few episodes if you're on. And like I said, it's pretty much a journey for me. So I'm just kind of documenting the journey along the way, what has worked for me, what I've identified as problems. And maybe if you can relate to it, just let me know in the comment section below, and what worked for you. I'm curious to know what works for you or what hasn't worked for you. That way we can kind of help everybody else who's actually paying attention to this podcast. And that way, at the end of the day, we're able to help a ton of people actually go from goals to progress. All right, that's it for this episode, and thank you for listening. Be sure to leave a comment in the section below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.